But those of you guys that are maybe not familiar with Tony, you guys are all somewhat familiar with the CGC program and the gifting program. Tony essentially is the founder of the CGC program. He's out in Oregon, and he's really kind of the pioneer of growing the program. And he's also responsible for a lot of the actual engraving and different parts of the business as well. And then Tony also was kind of the spearhead for growing the program throughout the U.S., creating the big pins and making it an actual position that was duplicatable all over the company. And Tony is offering up his time today to us to kind of explain the position, explain a little bit of the team selling process and stuff as well. And then I'm not sure, Tony, if there's time for any questions afterward, but we've got kind of an array of people that are on the call, from Sarah, who's fully invested in the events program right now and sells about $200,000 a year, to some former Vector people that are on the call right now as well. And then we've got one student who's a powerhouse sales guy who would be considering as well. So with that, Tony, I'll kind of turn it over to you and let you have at it.
Great. Well, first, all of you, thank you for being on the call today. I appreciate your time. I'm going to be just kind of going over the nuts and bolts of what the program is, how it works, and then kind of talking about next steps. I also just want to let you know that you guys are individually at any time after the call. If we don't get to questions, or if you have a question that pops up or whatnot, I've been in the company for a long time, 21 years. 13 years ago, I came up with the closing gift program, and that has grown to become the largest closing gift company in North America. We've done over 100 million in sales. About 120 reps across the country are authorized CGCs, so they can go out and sell to the realtors and loan officers. And the only $1 million a year in the company history was by a full-time CGC. Gonzalo, in his third full year, did over $1 million in Austin, Texas. And when you learn about the program, if you don't know already, it kind of becomes a no-brainer. And I love all the different parts of the business. I've done it all. I've been a manager. I've been a rep, a residential rep. I've done service calls. I've sold cookware. I've done all of it. It's a long time at this company. Started when I was 17. And so what is CGC at its essence? At its essence, the problem with our product is people don't need it again. So when someone buys a homemaker set, you sit down at your table, you cut the rope, you cut the leather, they buy it, they like it, they have it forever. And they weren't necessarily planning on spending money today on knives, but the value was built above the cost. They decided to invest. They bought it, threw it on a 5K, bought that homemaker set. They have it forever. That's hard when you're the salesperson. Not because it's not great to sell a homemaker set. It's that, as you know, they're going to have that homemaker set forever. So they may buy a few pieces. They might buy some Christmas gifts. They might buy a little more here or there. But for the most part, they bought their set. They're done. Let me ask you this. How great would it be if you showed up at someone's house, just in this one example, you showed up at someone's house and they said, "Oh, so happy you're here. I was already planning on buying a set of knives today. I already have $1,000 in my budget for a set of knives." You'd be like, done. Like, you're 100% done, right? And then how great would it be if 6 months later, that set became expired and they threw it away and they had another $1,000 in their budget for a set of knives? How much fun would the position be? They already love the product. It's already in their budget. And they just start buying a homemaker set from you twice a year. That'd be pretty cool, right? In essence, that's what the CGC program is. So we sell specifically to realtors and loan officers. Here's the deal. Realtors and loan officers, 92% of them already give gifts. Most gifts they're giving are consumables, baskets, gift cards, dinner out, whatever. And people like whatever they're getting, I've found. It's not like people don't like a basket or a gift card, but they obviously like Cutco better for a few reasons. And the reasons are, number one, obviously the longevity of the product is something they can have forever. We engrave with their info. So it's that one brain cell a day. It's out in the kitchen. It's a better marketing tool than a consumable piece that's out of their house in a week or two. The second reason is tax deductibility. So realtors can write off $25 per gift per IRS. The average closing gift in the United States is between $100 and $200. So most people either write off the whole amount and hope they don't get caught, or they don't take the full deduction they deserve. With Cutco, because it's engraved, you can just write it off as advertising. So it's a nice loophole for them. And thirdly, it's easy to store and have. So on the realtor program, we don't have the 5-pay, we do, but we actually have a 6-pay. So what we do is we sell them a 6-month supply of gifts, and then we build them over 6 months. So let's say you have a realtor that is doing 2 deals a month. We sell them 12 gifts. We ship them to them all at once. We bill them for 2 a month. And the average order on the realtor program is about $1,100 nationally. Okay. And I'll talk in a second about how to get to realtors and how to sell to them and how easy it is. But that's the reality. But here's the beautiful part about all of it, right? The beautiful part is they start handing out their gifts. And guess what happens in 6 months? They're out of gifts. And they need more. So they say, let's do the same thing we did last time. Now scale that over 100, 200, 500 customers. You look at these reps out there that are doing 200, 300, 400,000 in reorder business a year before their year even starts. They know they're going into this year. They're already going to sell 300 or 400K before they even get going. Now, it's also a different type of sales. And what I mean by that is it's B2B sales. So you are working with realtors in their real estate offices. You're not going to someone's house dealing with their kids and their dog and all of it. You're just going to their office. And what we do is we get involved in the local real estate community. And then we go and we speak at their local office team meeting or a training event. They have team meetings just like Cutco does. And we speak and we do a 7-minute presentation. And then we collect cards of people that are interested. We sell after the meeting, and then we do follow-up one-on-one presentations. So you go to an office meeting, let's say there's 20 or 30 people. You'll write up 2 or 3 orders at the end of the meeting, and you'll get another 10 cards of people that are interested and convert about half of those. So you got to slow down for a second and look at the numbers. So let's say you go to a meeting and you get 2 or 3 orders at the end of the meeting. You just do 1 meeting a week. Like the person on the call that's a full-time, you're into events, it's like your gig. My guess is your best events are not Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock. So what if you just did 1 event a week? Just one. Cutco event, meaning Cutco closing gift event, a team meeting, a training class, something like that. And that 1 event a week, you average 2 or 3 orders. You just added 150K to your year without any reorder business. That's how the math plays, because the average order is over $1,000. And are realtors apt to buy this stuff? So much, because they already spend the money. It's just diverting funds to something that better serves them. Okay. So then you do the follow-up one-on-one, and then there's the back-end process. So there's basically 2 parts to the position. There's the front-end part, the salesperson part, and that's something that most of our reps are pretty good at. We have great training. We have conferences. We have cross-training. We have weekly sales training. We do Zoom training. We have all kinds of training. So we'll get you good at that piece. The piece that's hard is the back-end part, because once they're your customer, we want to maximize them as a customer for them to reorder, right? So last year as a program, we did $11 million, 68% was reorder business, okay? So how that happens is you usually will join a team, okay? So you'll sign up for one of our real estate rep teams. You'll set up on a 35-15 split. You make 35, they make 15. Now, what do you get for the 15? First of all, the 10% covers your back end. And the back end is a couple things. It's the order entry, it's the engraving instructions, it's the handwritten thank you note, it's the database management, it's the reorder callback, it's the texting marketing, it's the email marketing, it's the gold group marketing, it's the customer service piece, it's the Facebook marketing piece of it. It's all of that, okay? Which isn't hard when you're brand new, but when you have 100 or 200 or 400 clients, it's really hard, right? Not that it's difficult, it just takes a lot of time. So we very rarely these days see anyone come on board and just do it all themselves. It's just too much, right? So you also get access to that team leader as a mentor or coach. Think about all the things you've learned from other top reps throughout your career, right? So what's interesting about that is I'm much more interested, because you're going to make about 40% on your realtor orders anyways when you're paying for the back end and the database and the marketing and all of that stuff. So let's say you pay for it all yourself. I would rather have you make 35% of a watermelon than 40% of a grape. That's what it comes down to. They're going to help you. Your coach is going to help you cut corners so well, and you only pay the split on realtor and biz orders. That's it. Your residential has nothing to do with it. You still make your full split on that, and you're paid weekly. You don't have to bonus or anything else. All you guys already hit bonus. But it's a real opportunity for people that want a more traditional type job with the company, meaning days, you're working days, so you have your evenings and weekends off, or you want to transition to this. So we have a lot of great event people with Cutco that start doing this, and then after 2 or 3 years, this just makes more sense because it's a more efficient way to sell Cutco, especially with the reorder process. So How we sell is super easy. Realtors love this. We do gifts for about 60,000 realtors across the country. And they reorder, high reorder rate. And it's fun because they're just diverting funds, right? And they like this. It serves their clients better than what they're already doing. And the reps like this because it's the easiest way to sell Cutco that's ever been derived. You just get out there, you do a couple meetings a week, you do the follow-up, you sell at the end, you do some one-on-ones, easy. The one-on-ones are like 10 or 15 minutes. You're just helping people figure out how many gifts they want, how long those will last them, writing up the order, the end. Then you submit it to your team leader, they'll do all the engraving instructions and all of that. So in terms of market penetration, that always comes up on these type of calls. So we have no markets in the country that are saturated, none whatsoever. So what I mean by that is 1% of the population anywhere are realtors. 0.5% of the population are loan officers. So if you're in a metro area that says has 1 million people, you have 10,000 realtors and 5,000 loan officers for a potential base of 15,000 clients, okay? So of those, when you get 500 to 1,000 on the program, you're selling about 300K a year in realtor biz, okay? In the last 10 years, on average, 5 to 6 of the top 10 reps in the country have been full-time realtor reps. That's why they have their own silver cup race and whatnot, because the reality is it's just an easier way to sell. And it has, let me say it like this, I have not actively personally been in the field in 5 years. I oversee the program for North America and the engraving company that does all the engraving for the US, about 90% of it anyways. I have 50 employees there. We engrave about 1,300 knives a day. I have 8 children. I oversee, I have half a dozen rental properties. I have a lot going on like everybody. I'm not saying that because I'm so busy or whatever. I'm saying that to say I still sell $250,000 in reorders a year just through active management of my book of business. So that those reorders, those people are still buying. It's still happening 5 years after the fact. Now, when you're in the field actively and you see them more often and you're adding more clients, great things can happen. Eric Gilman this year is in his 3rd full year as a realtor rep. He's going to sell 650 to 680,000 this year in CGC bids. This is his 3rd year. So if you're interested in adding it as a layer of your business, totally cool. If you're interested in adding this to replace your business, totally cool. If you're doing this to supplement, totally cool. What doesn't work is adding this is what I call the cookware pot, okay? The cookware pot is just getting involved in CGC. So when you run into a realtor, you can sell to them. That is not what the realtor program is. So what I mean by that is you actually have to do activity. You need to do a meeting a month or meeting a week rather, consistently to get some great traction and some great results. Also, you're probably going to really suck at this for the first 30 days. So what gets in the way of some of the new people is at this point, everybody on this call is good at selling Cutco, or you were good at some point in the past. Being a CGC is not so much about Cutco and more about selling branding tools to realtors. We're lucky we have Cutco. It engraves beautifully. People like the product. It's well known, but it's like when you see a top rep go out and try to run a branch office and they don't go through the preparation and they fall flat on their face. Okay. It doesn't matter you sold 200 or 300 grand. It doesn't mean you're going to be a great manager, right? Just because you've sold a lot doesn't mean you're going to be a great CGC. So you have to let go of the ego and be okay understanding that you may suck at this for a couple weeks or a month. But just like anything you've gotten good at in Cutco, the more you invest, the better return you get on your investment. So you spend a lot of time learning and working and building your craft. It's not a hard task to learn. These people already spend the money. They already like our product. So you just go out, you do the meetings, you do the follow-up, you write up the thing, your team takes care of the rest. It's better, it's easy. So in terms of what the next steps are, if you are interested in taking the next steps, talk to Dane, figure out who team-wise, and I'll work with him to place you on. If you qualify to go solo, you're welcome to apply. I'm not one way or the other. It's just teams seem to work better. At that point, we'll get you an application. You get signed up. I think the sample kit's like $300, comes with all the samples. We'll get you on our weekly calls. We'll get you working. We'll get you out there. We'll get you producing. And like I say, you can literally do 1 meeting a week this year, which takes 7 minutes with the driving and everything. Let's say you spend 2 hours a week on CGC. Just do the 1 meeting and you do the follow-up one-on-one. So let's say you invest 5 hours a week in this, and you get 1 or 2 orders a week. That just adds 50 to 100K on your year, okay? The math is fantastic when it comes to the realtor program because the orders are big. We don't sell 1 knife. We sell minimum of 6, right? And most people are buying sets. So our littlest orders are still $400 or $500, but most people are buying, you know, 1,000 plus. My average order is like 1,800 because most of my customers that are still at this are the top realtors. The really sucky realtors have fallen off in the last 5 years, right? So at this point, let's open up for Q&A, and then we'll talk about where to go for the next steps. So anybody, any question, let it rip.
Yeah, so there's a couple of CGCs in each territory. How do you guys make sure that you're not accidentally stepping on each other's toes?
Excellent question. So if we didn't place you on that CGC's team and you were just on someone else's team or solo, either way, we have an online team meeting tracker, so you wouldn't go pursue offices that are already closed. If you run into an agent in that office, you can sell to them, but you would not pursue offices that are closed. So we have a system for that for sure. So you guys don't step on each other's toes, and that won't be an issue wherever you live. And like I say, who asked the question, where do you live?
I didn't.
Whoever asked that question, where do you live?
Oh, I live in Plymouth.
That's Minneapolis.
Oh, I thought you asked who asked you where you live. Yeah, I live in Plymouth, Minneapolis.
So you live by Jeff, right? So my sense is we'd probably place you on Jeff's team. Jeff is maybe the nicest human I've ever met, and he would be able to help you get going in that area and carve out the area that you really want to work based on how much activity you want to have. You wouldn't have to be on Jeff's team. You could be on someone else's team, or you could go solo. And either way, we have a system for it. But if you live near Jeff, I would try to place you with Jeff because Jeff's great. Other questions?
I've got a question, Tony. If somebody were to, you know, let's say somebody's in the Twin Cities and they wanted to pursue a market that was 2 hours away, is that something that is a possibility? Is that too much of a hassle? What's your take on that?
Well, it really just has to do with your philosophy and what you want to do. So is it worth it? Sure. If it's in the division and in the region, you don't need permission. If you do, we have to clear it with that DVM, that RM if it's in a different region or division. But you basically can go and you can sell, and I probably wouldn't close the office unless you're going to go back. But whenever you sell to a realtor, that customer is protected for 2 years. No one else can sell to your realtor clients for 2 years. And then if they don't reorder within 2 years, we open them back up. But most clients are reordering, so they're basically protected indefinitely. So that's fine. We have a lot of people that work in areas that have a lot of outlying areas, and they'll drive somewhere, they'll do an event, they'll speak, they'll do the follow-up, they'll get 4 or 5 people on the program, and then they'll come home, and then the follow-up's all done over the phone or on email, and then that we'll get reorders. I've done that myself back in the very beginning of the program. I flew out to Boise because I felt like it. I got into a meeting there, sold $12,000 at the meeting, came home. I still have people from Boise that reordered 13 years later. So the answer to that question is it has to do with you and what you want to do. And, but there's opportunity everywhere. Real estate is everywhere. Everyone needs a place to live. Market's good, market's bad. Doesn't matter. Market gets bad, people have to sell houses. Market gets good, people have to buy houses. There's always real estate moving. We also have 2 conferences a year, one in the summer, one in the winter, where we bring everybody together and do a full-on training conference for 2 or 3 days. The next one's in Portland in June. So if you were a CGC, you'd be invited to that. Then the one after that is in Florida in the fall, January, rather, winter. And I'm so vectorized, I don't have winter in my vocabulary because it's 3 campaigns, right? So, yeah. Any other questions?
So I'm from the Des Moines area where I told the program is kind of moving to. Does it work differently if there's not already pre-existing teams in the area? Or like, how does it go creating a team and then build, like starting from the ground up in a sense? Great question. So we don't let new reps start teams. You have to sell, I think, it's either 250,000 or 500,000 before you're qualified to run a team. If you want to be a standalone CGC there and you qualified per standards, meaning you sold 100K in residential and you want to apply, that's fine. You don't have to have someone near you to be on their team. So there's the 2 biggest team in the country. I have a team. I don't do active coaching, meaning I do back-end management. So all the book work and whatnot, but I don't do the coaching. And then we have Sharp Retention,
which Eric Gilman's on, and Matt Hansen, and Anthony Mercer, and Katie Haney, and Nick Najar, and a bunch of people. They're based in Florida. Their owners, one's in Florida, one's in San Diego, and they have team people all over the country. So your team leader does not have to be anywhere near you whatsoever, would be the answer to that question. It's okay if they are, but they don't have to be. Any other questions? Okay. Well, like I say, in a nutshell, this opportunity is a easy thing to add into your business, to add a great amount of volume in CPO. You'll like the way the selling feels. The orders are big. The people are already spending the money. It's already established. A lot of people know about Cutco closing gifts. If you've worked events near a rep, you've had people come to your booth that got one from their realtor, for sure. That being said, if you have questions for me, Dane will get you my number. If you like to apply solo and you qualify, you can get a hold of Nikki DeVries and get an application. She's at the Vector East office where Al DiLeonardo is, and John Kane. Dane will give you that email address to get the application. Or if you'd like to join a team, get with Dane. I'll help get you placed with a CGC that's appropriate based on your personality and your geography. And then that person, I will set up an intake call with them. If there's a good match, we'll get them to send you an application through Vector Connect and get it set up through that. So anyways, thanks for taking the time today. And even if you don't choose to pursue the realtor program, I wish you great success in whatever you're doing. All parts of the business are super important. I love this business. I've been here a long time. And whether you're a show rep, a manager, one day become the president, whatever you're doing, it's all important. We all are in the same team here. So thank you for your time. Thanks for being on this call. And best of luck with CGC or whatever else you intend on doing.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys, you can follow up by send me a text or email if you want to take any next steps and stuff with it. I got to run right now, unfortunately, but we'll obviously be in touch with stuff from there. See ya.